Tap in on Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 a.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. Eastern for the 180 Positivity Plug. This will be a 3-minute power plug in which we will have an amazing pop-up guest that will be a virtual source for you to plug in and power up to get your day started. It will be available on YouTube, Facebook Live, and all our podcast streaming platforms. Be sure to tap in.
Let's work. You're now, that's what's important. We experience a collapse in our life structure most of the time because we failed to funeralize failed yesterdays. You have to be strong enough basically to realize you can elevate out of your current situation. Instead of looking at where you think you should be by now, look at where you have grown out of. There are many individuals who need help with their blueprint. And I want to be that vessel, nothing special, just that mouthpiece to inspire you to construct the best version of your life that you can be.
Welcome to the Life Structure with Eric podcast. I am your host, Eric. Greetings to you. Greetings. I almost missed my cue. I started to record, but I had music playing in my headphones, and I got so carried away that I almost missed my cue there. Y'all almost caught me in the spirit. Boy, I love me some Rance Allen. And when that thing get to marinating all up in your spirit and you start thinking about the goodness of Jesus, it'll just sidetrack you and you get caught up there for a minute. Sheesh. I just love it. I love it. Something about the name Jesus. Something about the name Jesus. It is the sweetest name I know. Oh, how I love the name Jesus. Yes, sir. Boy, it'll make you get up and start running. I know somebody know what I'm talking about. It's just something about that name. At the mention of his name, demons got to flee. The wall has got to drop. Yes, sir. It's just that type of Monday for me. I've just been in a great mood today, and I pray that all of your Monday is off to a great start as well. Take the time, and if you don't do nothing else, use that index finger, hit that share button, share it out. Going to be talking about some good stuff today about, hey, a lot of times in life, we just want what we want when we want it, and we just try to fit things in our life that we know don't fit. We try to fit things in our life that God has already told us was not part of our blueprint, but we mean we're going to fit it into our life. And what happens is we try our best to make it work. We try our best to force it to fit in our life. And, I was looking at this thing the other day, and it was these architects, and they were planning, this new skyscraper that they were building. And they talked about that foundation, and they talked about all of the weight of the steel framing that it was going to take to build that skyscraper. And what two of the guys agreed on was within 5 to 10 years, all of that metal, all of that iron framework was going to be so heavy that it was going to cause the foundation to crumble, because that foundation was not going to be strong enough to hold everything that was going to be stacked on top of that foundation. And that spoke to me. And going off of my notes that I already have been writing and planning for this episode 77, I'm like, ooh, that goes right with what I'm going to be talking about, because so many times in life, what we'll do is try to add things in our life that's too heavy for our structure. And what happens is we go in and we add all of these things on top of our foundation, and it caused everything in our life to just crumble because we weren't obedient. We didn't look at, you know, the blueprint that we were trying to build, and we just added unnecessary weight. And basically, what happened is our life pretty much just crumbled. A few weeks ago, we were talking about getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Uh, Not sure if everyone heard that podcast episode. If you didn't, definitely go back and listen to it. But yeah, we were talking about, if you plan on stretching yourself in life and building and pushing towards, your purpose, how you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Well, this episode is going to be a little different because basically in this one, what we're kind of talking about is how sometimes in life we create the chaos in our life, which causes us to be uncomfortable because, pretty much what I just touched up on, we will go in and add stuff into our life that we think is going to make us comfortable. But basically, what it does is makes us uncomfortable. There are so many different categories that can fall up under this topic when we talk about basically trying to force stuff to fit into our life that we know our foundation is not strong enough to carry. A lot of things that we see a lot of times is well, a lot of people don't even live by a monthly budget or um an annual budget or a quarterly budget. A lot of people, they just work and spend. A lot of people, they just plan for stuff and they just do it. Some people, they want what they want and they get what they want. Some people's like, I work hard and I'm going to get me this car. I work hard. I'm going to get me, that $2,500 purse. I work hard. I'm going to get me the necklace, whatever type of jewelry or the latest phone or whatever it is. A lot of people, they're just big on, like, hey, I work hard and I'm going to get me, what I want. And, not realizing that you're going to get that car that that you cannot afford. And I get it. Sometimes you don't have a car and you just need some type of transportation so you can get around. But when you go in there and you sat in there and that salesman, comes back with that financing report and he tell you that, hey, your car payment is going to be about 550 or 600 bucks a month. And that your rent or mortgage is like $1,500 to $2,000. Uh, you have food, all of your utilities, your credit card bills, uh, all of that other stuff that fall under that category. And let's say you're bringing home about 4 grand a month, you know, and you still have all these other areas that you need to make sure that your money is uh, large enough to spread around. But also, what we forget, we want to have a little bit that we can put in savings. So if that exceeds that, basically you're trying to fit something into your life. You're trying to force something to fit in your life that God doesn't want you to have in there. You're trying to force something that don't fit. And then what happens is you start to basically find yourself falling short in all of these other areas because you don't have enough funds, monthly to spread around to take care of all of your other bills that you need to take care of. So because you, stuck your head out and you got that vehicle, or, you went and moved into that place or whatever it is that you done, but your monthly income was not strong enough for you to be able to finance this, then you're going to mess around and you're going to get uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, which basically you're going to start shorting yourself out on other bills, and you're going to start, accumulating late fees after late fees because you didn't plan correctly. You didn't take the time to look at your blueprint and say, hey, does this fit into my budget? Like for me, I'll take it back a little further. Um, my drug habit, it wasn't in my budget years ago, you know, but I wanted what I wanted. I refused to stop using. And basically, I ended up, losing everything, you know, pretty much that I had, the house, the car, the relationships, the job, because basically, it didn't fit into my budget, but I forced it to fit. It's these things that we don't look at the overall picture. We get caught up in the moment, and a lot of people call it the stinking thinking that pretty much gets us to that point. Our stinking thinking always gets us in trouble because we don't take the time to listen, first of all, at other people, because there's always somebody that's going to be pouring into us. We're trying to pour into us anyway, but most of the time when people are trying to pour into us, either we're going to say they jealous of us, or they don't know what they're talking about, or, you'll say, well, they don't even want to see me, happy. They don't want to see me happy. And what you don't realize is it's a uh temporary compassionate feeling that we experience, because eventually that happiness that you're going to feel from riding around in that car, that happiness you're going to feel from, carrying around that little expensive purse or whatever it is, it's eventually going to subside because you're going to start to see yourself shorting out in your finances, in other areas. It always happens, even basically circle of friends. That's another one. A lot of times, we get connected with these people, and it's okay if we kind of outgrow friends. That's okay, because sometimes what you're trying to walk out, they're not supposed to walk it out with you. So what happens is you will start to get butthurt because you're talking about your vision and you're talking about your purpose that you're pushing towards, and they're shooting it down, like, well, my cousin did that and it didn't work, or, well, why you want to do that? They always have something negative to say. And sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's just they're doing stuff that no longer, you know, no something that you're no longer encouraged to do. Something that you're no longer feel motivated to do. Maybe your season is up of going to the club. Maybe your season is up, when they call you to gossip about people, and you prefer not to even hear it. Maybe your season is up of a lot of places that they frequently visit that you don't want to visit, or just people that they hang around that are up to no good, so you don't want to hang around with them. It's okay. It's okay, because One thing that you want to do that you don't want to do is try to fit something into your life that's going to cause you pain. Something, try to fit something into your life that basically is going to make you uncomfortable. If it don't fit, don't force it. It's okay. People say that you're acting funny. People say you're acting weird. Let me tell you something. My circle is very, very small. And I don't think twice about it. Don't think twice about it. There's a lot of people that, I used to pretty much hang out with, frequently visit, uh, just don't do it anymore. I just have a very small circle that I allow to entertain me. And when I tell you that my very small circle, they are some of my biggest cheerleaders. They support me in everything that I do. I can call them and pitch something to them. They give me their honest feedback. They don't co-sign everything that I do. Heck, they even question why I do some of the things that I do. And they give me their outlook on it. And basically, it, paints a total different picture to me. And I'm grateful to have people like that in my life because it helps me to grow, being connected to people, that's going to call me out on my stuff and say, hey, I don't think, that's a good idea. So it's okay if you start hanging with people that you feel are much further along than you are, and you want to connect with people that's going to help you get to the next level in your life. Because if you're attached to people that can assist you to get where you're trying to get to, it's okay to disconnect from them. It's really okay. Yeah, Why? Why do we try to fit people, places, things in our life that we know don't belong there? Why do we do that? That's always, something that I no sense. That this stuff don't belong in your life, but you mean that you're going to make it work, and you do everything you can to make this stuff fit into your life until you get to the point that you really see, wow, this is doing nothing but adding chaos, pain, and turmoil into my life. And a lot of times I think it's because we get tired of waiting on stuff that we've been praying for. So basically, we just try to fit this stuff into our life, knowing that it wasn't meant to be in our life, but we're just tired of waiting and praying for God to move. So we move our fast tails ahead of Him, and then basically we hit that dead end, because basically we getting real frustrated with God because He won't open that door. But basically, what He's doing is keeping it closed because the moment that we walk through that door that He's trying to keep closed, the moment that we walk through it, it will destroy everything that we have built so far, and it will destroy everything that He had planned ahead of us to walk into. But because we stepped out and walked ahead of Him, and we walked through a door that He never meant to open for us, basically, it demolished everything that the whole path that He was clearing to build that road for us to just drive straight down into freedom. Because we moved out in front of Him, it demolished everything that He had pre-planned for us because we couldn't wait. We couldn't wait, and that goes all the way down to, just think about how when you basically feel like, you're tired of being by yourself, you just want to be in a relationship. And basically, you're in a relationship and you tell, oh, God told me this going to be my husband. God told me this is my wife. God ain't told you nothing, and this is why basically, You step ahead of God, even though every red flag was there. You still stepped ahead and married that person. And then once you marry them, it's been 3 years into your marriage, and you so uncomfortable that you throw in the towel. Just 3 years in. Why? Because you ignored all the warning signs that you saw 3 months into the relationship. You know, because basically you meant you was going to fit something into your life that was not part of your blueprint. It didn't fit into your structure, but you meant you were going to make it work. God told you that was not your spouse. Your pastor counseled you and told you that the two of you were not compatible and refused to marry you. So what did you do? You got mad, went online and hired a wedding official to perform your wedding ceremony. Somebody that did you know, somebody that didn't even know you and you didn't know them. Now, where you at? Online again. Now you're on Tinder looking for your next because you disobeyed God and tried to force together what he didn't approve you to build. Sheesh. If it don't fit, don't force it. It's so, we don't realize a lot of times when we're in that holding pattern. I use the airport, for example, a lot. I work for the airline, and I use a lot of examples a lot of time, on here from things that I've experienced at work. Sometimes we have basically, we have what we call a regular ops. It can be bad weather, and you may have a flight. Sometimes they're trying to get into Phoenix, and it's bad weather, and the weather is so bad that they have to divert into Vegas while we're waiting for the weather to pretty much calm down, and they'll be able to safely land here in Phoenix. Sometimes, the weather is kind of bad, but it's not so bad that they have to divert. But what happens is they'll put them in a holding pattern. So they're right there, but they're in a holding pattern. So basically, sometimes they have to just circle around and continue to circle around the area until they get cleared by air traffic control to land. And, that's why, like my job that I do, basically, we basically do the weight and balance on the aircraft. Basically have to level it off and everything to make sure it's fine, going off the passengers as well as the fuel and the luggage, all of that stuff. We have to make sure it's loaded, and all of this we calculate in the system where to load the bags at, how much fuel to put on it, how many people is going to be on it, and everything calculates. And that aircraft have to be leveled off where the center of gravity is right in the middle. So basically, one of the things that a lot of times the captain comes up and he looks at the weather, then he looks at his fuel, and basically he looks at the destinations. And he's like, okay, so yeah, if something happens, we have enough fuel. If we have to divert, well, we can go off to Vegas or we can go off to LA. But basically, if you don't have enough fuel, it could be something very, very horrifying that happens if you don't have enough fuel, while you're in that holding pattern or if you have to divert. And I'm saying that to say a lot of times we get impatient when God put us in that holding pattern. We get very impatient when he puts us in that holding pattern. And I guess it's because we're scared on where we're going to land, and I'm not going to say we're scared on. Now, I take that back. I'm not going to say we're scared about where we're going to land. We're scared about if we are this close and we're in that holding pattern, and then he mess around and create a diversion, and he takes us back to the city that we came from, or he takes us over this way, and it takes us away from the place that we want to be. So basically, what happens a lot of times is he diverts us somewhere else we get mad with him. So then we're going to just jump in a car and drive ourselves forward to that place that we want to be, trying our best to fit, trying our best to force our way into a place that he was not ready for us to go to yet. Why? Why do we do that? Every time that we push out and push ourselves to get ahead of him, something always happens that pushes us back because basically we try to force ourselves somewhere that he wasn't ready for us to go to. You know, one more, one more, basically we see this a lot where we go out and, you know, get pregnant. You know, as a young man, you get a female pregnant knowing you're not ready to be a father, or a female gets pregnant knowing you're not ready to be a mother. You know, we laugh at people when they say we're trying to get pregnant because a lot of us, we know we popped up as a mistake. Nobody was trying. We just popped up, and that's how we got here. But most people today that's responsible, they plan. Okay, we want to have a baby in 2025. So budget wise, they plan, they save, they put away, and they make sure that everything is where they want it to be. They go and get, health checkups and make sure they are healthy. And then they plan and they try to conceive. But then on the other end, you have people that have children and it's basically nothing that was planned. And then the baby is born and you're basically forced them onto your parents. You force them onto your siblings because you still want to go out and party. You still want to go out and do this and this and this. And you're trying to force someone else to watch your baby because it doesn't fit into your schedule for this weekend. It doesn't fit into your schedule, and you want to go to Vegas with all of your friends, but none of your friends don't have a baby. You're the one that have a baby. So now you're trying to force your child on someone else so you can make your schedule work. That's not cool. You're an adult now. You're an adult. And once you become an adult and you have that child, stop trying to force, you know, stop trying to force your kids on someone else so you can go out and enjoy yourself. And a lot of times when that happens, you're trying to force your kid on someone else, but you don't leave no money behind. You think they're supposed to do everything, everything. And that's not how it's intended to be. We have to grow up and accept responsibility and accept that everything is not going to be microwavable in our life. We're not going to be able to, click on that 1 or 2 minutes, that 1 or 2 minute prayer, and God is going to manifest what we pray for. We're at a point in our life where we have to be mature enough to realize that when we are put in that holding pattern, we're put in that holding pattern for a reason because he's working things out so that we can be able to move one step closer towards our purpose, one step closer towards our dreams, one step closer towards our goal, and not be uncomfortable as we do it. It's like I don't know anyone that I'm connected to that everything happened to them overnight. No one. But we have to take the time to evaluate our life and look at where we are, you know, financially. Look at where we are. Look at your budget. If you have some things in your budget that don't fit, let that pride go. Let that pride go. If it doesn't fit into your budget, it's okay to say, you know what, I'm dropping this. I'm getting rid of this. I need to, you know what, cable doesn't fit into our budget. This car doesn't fit. We got 3 cars. One of these cars got to go. It's okay. Look at those monthly subscriptions that they said the average household has at least 10 monthly subscriptions when it comes to the streaming and the apps and all of this stuff that we have. Take the time and sit down and look at all of these subscriptions that you have and figure out what's in your budget that you can cut out that can help push you towards, you know, um, having a little bit more of financial freedom in your life. Your friends, once again, who's in your circle of friends that causes chaos? Who's in your circle of friends that makes you feel uncomfortable? Who's in your circle of friends that say they're praying for you and they're really not? Because one of the things I found out about that real quick, a real friend, you can reach out to them and say, I need prayer. And they will say, I got you. They don't need to know what you need prayer for, because you're that much connected. They know if Eric is calling out for prayer, he must need prayer. And they just go into prayer for you. They don't really need to know what you need prayer for. So, yeah, who's in your circle of friends that don't genuinely pray for you? It's okay to go in and delete people out of your friend circle that don't fit in. Your relationship that you're in. Are you feeling uncomfortable? I'm gonna ask you that again. Your relationship that you're in. Are you feeling uncomfortable? I'm gonna ask you that again. Oh, I forgot. I can't hear y'all talking back. Seriously though, your relationship that you're in, are you feeling uncomfortable? Are you trying to force this person to fit into your life, but you really feel uncomfortable? Why? Why are you still in that relationship? Why are you still there? Is it because they wine and dine you? They give you financially? They give you 2 minutes of good loving? Why are you still there if you are really uncomfortable? If it don't fit, don't force it. It's okay. I promise you, if you just allow God to come into your life and talk to you, and you would just sit your butt in a corner and hear him, he will let you know, and he will confirm to you that you're in a holding pattern for a reason. Stop getting so butthurt when he creates a diversion in your life and he takes you to a place that you weren't expected to go. Just allow him to take you into that spot. Allow him to get you to your next destination. But if you continue to try to jump ahead of him and force yourself to move ahead of him and cause, your that iron framework to get so heavy that your foundation crumbles, that's because you continue to move ahead of him and build on an untainted blueprint, a blueprint that when you look at the measurements and you look at how much that you can bear, and you know that that's not part of your structure, and you pour it on anyway, that's why your foundation continues to crumble. So do yourself a favor. Evaluate yourself this week. Look at everything that's in your life and think. Write it down and think about it. Meditate on it and look at what is in my life? What is it that I'm trying to fit into my life that should not be a part of my structure? Look at it and then figure out what you need to eliminate out of your life. It's just that simple. Just that simple. So with that being said, thank you for tapping in. You have amazing rest of your week. Peace.